reach as many people as possible in an organic way. And so one of the things I'm looking at is AI. And its firm great example is we have a lot of content. We've produced hundreds and thousands of hours, of content, and I just know that my content isn't dead, and it can expand to a wider audience with the advent of AI, where you see all these apps now and you see all these services where you can convert old content into like Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, French, Spanish, and reach even a wider audience. So that's what is currently intriguing us about AI. Obviously, there are many other applications, but I think in a summary, those are the things that intrigue us so far.
And thank you very much, Monday.
Yeah.
We're just going to pivot very quickly to UD James. So UD, what were your initial thoughts when you saw opportunities for creatives in digital economy, and you being a creative? Could you just speak a bit about your own angle and how you just naturally interpret it, and what you think the opportunities lie, where the opportunities lie?
Thank you very much. I feel like I share, how do I put this, with the audience, because I didn't even know I was going to be seated here, and this is an opportunity, and we're told...
Please, let's give her a round of applause again. She's one of us.
All right, so first of all, say thank you very much for this opportunity to be here to speak on this angle. My name is UD James. I'm a creator, I'm a presenter, I'm a voice-over artist, and a YouTuber as well. Before now, I would say that if you walk up to someone and you tell someone, I'm a creative, like, what's that? Get a job. But now creators are making so much money that it's pushing so many persons to say, maybe I might say no to a 9-to-5 and sit at my home and create content for brands. And some parents are like, okay, my child walks up to me and say, I want to be a content creator, I want to be a creative. And parents are like, okay, if someone else is doing it, my child can do it. But I'll always say, pick your fruit. What is going to work for you? Now, as a creative and the opportunities that are bound, one thing I say to every brand is a product is dead until the creative steps into the building. So if you're a creative here, please can you clap for yourself? Because what a creative does, when we grew up as kids, what we'll see is a lady on the screen, she's rubbing the cream and it looks beautiful. That was the angle of creation we saw, but everything right now can be interpreted into a story. And one thing to say about stories, facts will get to the head, but stories will get to the heart. And a creative would try to tell that story that would stick with the target audience, and the target audience would say, I think I can relate with this. So relatability, authenticity would always be the catchword for a creative. As for opportunity
to power dreams. So when we say we are powering the dreams of businesses and people who use our products, right, we're also powering the dreams of people who work at MoneyPoint. And MoneyPoint is a dream come true for me as a creative.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to circle back to you because it will be interesting to and I'm sure there are a number of creatives here who want to understand how MoneyPoint wants to then engage with them either on individual levels or in a collective. So I'll circle back to you, but one day I just want to just jump to you. One, because of the stellar work you've done with, celebrities like Berna, like Files. You've told very compelling stories in your space, things that have found international exposure and relevance. What do you see as the link between these opportunities as you've explored them, what is left untapped, and let's call it an enabling environment, also because we realize that a lot needs to be done by government, but we can't necessarily rely on government. When you look at all of that, based on your experience, what do you see as the way forward, really?
Okay, I think it's very tricky. First thing I would say is do not rely on government. I think their job is to create the environment, but I wouldn't say that should be. I think you should focus on you first as a creative. A lot of the opportunities I got came out of obviously there's skill, but I think there's also timing and God as well. but I feel like I'll use the Fowls one as an example, which was my big break. I produced a video called "This Is Nigeria," and
How many of us know that video?
yeah, I could tell you that that was literally the worst working day of my life till today. I'm sweating thinking about it now because it was one of the quickest turnarounds we've ever had. The idea came up on a Tuesday, we shot it on a Thursday, and released it on a Friday. Wow. So from beginning to end it was a couple of days, and trust me, that day we had 3 generators break down. We were stranded on the mainland. Our police detail that was securing files left. Like everything that could go wrong went wrong. And I remember vividly, after we had finished, I had to go to Abuja the next day, and I remember thinking that, yeah, this might be the end of my producing career, you know. So I remember getting on the plane, landing, and my phone was dead, so I couldn't charge my phone. And then I went to my cousin's wedding, and then when I was done, I put my phone in the car, charged it, and messages, and it had been released. And you know, it was kind of one of the obviously by Saturday, by Sunday, it had now trended globally and whatever. And I feel like we're able to leverage that to give us more opportunities. So for a lot, I mean, I've produced 40, close to 50 music videos before that, at that time, or totally in my career. And like it took one to just catch fire, you know. And so it has to do a lot with patience, because I believe that in the beginning of my career as a creative, you're bursting with ideas, you're like a bit frustrated. You're not a creative if you're not frustrated, because you're limited by money, you're limited by opportunities. You become a bit of a hater, because at the beginning you're like, I can do that now. Like everybody feels, but I think it's necessary as a creative to have that chip on your shoulder. I think it's the fuel that keeps you going, right? As long as you don't make it toxic and you don't let that paralyze you, because I think a lot of people feel like they can do it until you get there, you know. Luckily, it's something that worked for us, and we're able to leverage that from having those opportunities. We now got the opportunities to working with corporates. People trusted us a bit more, and so on and so forth. And so I think that at the beginning of your career as a creative, you're going to mostly work in isolation. I think at that beginning, I cannot say enough of being able to network laterally, which is people always want to network up. But I think at that beginning stage is where you find those people who are equally as hungry as you are, and begin to build, right? And those people are the people who, I mean, there are people that I remember from those days that I work with now, and they're like, you know, they're at a different level now, and you know, I can easily call them and network and work with them, because obviously we saw ourselves when we were suffering in the trenches. You know, you understand? There's a bond that comes from that, and so when I say for digital creatives, especially the ones starting out, is just continue to work at it and wait for that opportunity, but wait while you're building and networking laterally, because I feel like everything kind of comes together when it's time. Yeah.
Right. So if I'm summarizing that, capturing that, it's continue to build, stay consistent,
network laterally.
and network laterally. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So Jide, going back to this conversation around empowering our dreams, you know, as creatives, we love when people want to empower our dreams. I think we have a name for you people. We call you helper. You are our helper. So what does this mean really when you speak about Money Point, empowering the dreams of creatives? What does that mean for us? Because I'm also gonna come to you, D. James, and I'm sure she wants to know.
All right, thank you very much. So powering dreams is something we strongly believe in at Money Point, and we believe that every business owners have an aspiration. You know, everyone wants to become better at what they do. Everybody wants to make more money. Everybody wants to, use, have a payment partner, have, be able to do transactions and with ease so that their business can grow, and then those who use their service will not be frustrated at them, And, that's something that fuels everything that we do every day at MoneyPoint, to make sure that while we wake up every day, we want to make sure that every business owner out there is happy, right? And their customers are happy. And
what does that mean for the creatives?
Yeah, I'm going there now. For creatives, we have an interesting structure that helps us to be able to. We have creative people. It's an accommodative environment for creative people like me. To be able to do our best work every day, and also to be able to be on that mission, on that path to power dreams of businesses, right? So every day we come up with concepts, we develop concepts on how to tell the authentic brand story, right? That is one more creative every day, having their own, dreams powered. So I think that is
fantastic. Now, the reason I ask this question is we do understand that there are opportunities, but as One Day has highlighted, a lot of these opportunities exist for structured initiatives, structured ideas, and that's where, as creatives, we find that we don't always excel. And so as we look at what the opportunities are in the digital economy, I think it's based on what each person chooses to engage with. So I, for instance, am a digital artist, and mine is a mixed medium, 4K, slow motion videos. There are other people who perhaps are voiceover artists who are using, the audio sort of avenue to express themselves. So I'm looking at this and saying, as a creative, if we express ourselves in different ways, we still have to find structure. Because if we don't find structure, then we're not able to engage with those who are able to power our dreams. Now, you've spoken a lot about being consistent in that process. And we've heard from Jide about MoneyPoint and how it's doing one creative at a time, and I think that that's great. The question in my mind, and this is where I would like to also end with you, UD James, is to understand what is your own process to remain such structured as a creative, because that can be a challenge. And how are you doing that every day? I think this also gives the opportunity for you to speak a bit about your work as a creative.
All right, thank you very much. If you're a creator here, let me just see your hands up. If you're a creative here, okay, can we make it up, higher? If you're proud of yourself, can you celebrate yourself some more? I actually wanted us to clap for ourselves because I know there are those moments in the rooms where you have to shed a tear or even more. If you've had those crying moments, I've had those moments so many times, and you're like, why am I here? Who sent me job? But yes, I want to say, how well are you feeding your why? Because if you don't feed your why, it's going to question you on rainy days when you're pitching to brands and those brands are not responding, or the brand tells you the perfect line, I'll get back to you, and that get back to you never happens. So you need to be able to think outside the box, and if there's no box, even create your own box. So this is where I'm going to go to, because I understand that the creative journey, those who are big creators up there, when we see the videos they put out, you could be intimidated if your foundation is not strong. You ask yourself the question of how do I get from here to there? And the truth is, most people don't get to tell you the stories of how they got from here to there. So it feels like it just happened. But no, it didn't happen. There's nothing like a big break, they would say, because big breaks are just simply small breaks that got together. And just like I heard him say, all it takes is just one person, one brand, one opportunity to reveal the other things you've been doing that no one saw, and it was just one like. And sometimes that one like might just have to be you liking what you do. Don't even worry about family, because family might not even support you. So I think the creative journey is one journey where you become a motivational speaker, because you are your motivator. So yes, having a big picture. I like to tell people, when you're pitching to brands, how are you pitching to a brand? Are you just telling them, I want to do this for you, I want to do this for you? Because guess what? You are not the only creative. They're getting tons of people reaching out to them. But a brand wants to know, how well do you care about them? What's the missing point? What's the puzzle that needs to be fixed there? Can you tell them, that 10 years from now, if you do this, this is what your target audience is going to like, and it's going to be better for you. So a brand sees that you're not just selling to them, you're being part of them. Am I speaking to you? Like, is it syncing with someone? Yes. So a brand sees from that angle. And then another thing I would say as creatives is, when people come into an organization, you can see engineers that are together. As creatives, we need a community together, because when you have down moments, another creative is going to be there to inspire you. Oh, let's go ahead and do our things. And there's beauty in numbers. When people come together and they're doing something so well, definitely people are going to turn around. What's happening? And yes, we're doing this. So as a creative, I'm going to say is one place where the mountain does not come to Mohammed, you have to go to Mohammed yourself. Keep knocking on doors, and if a door says no, move to the other door, but do not forget to come back to this other door, because he said no today does not mean he won't say yes tomorrow. But if
you know what? I would like to appreciate you, D. James, for the passion that you've communicated. And I'll tell you the one thing that I've taken from this. We need to do the work as creatives of research. It's not enough to have a great idea. It's not enough to be able to express it creatively. But in finding a way to engage with brands and with institutions, we have to care about them and show how we can use our talents, our gifts, our perspectives towards the realization of their goals. But we would have to know what their goals are. And I think the minute we start to do that and we build a community where we are, as Wande calls it, networking laterally, I think it creates a stronger push, and then we can also reinforce our whys. I would like to keep to time, and at this point, I want to thank everyone for listening, but I would like to say a goodbye, and I would like for you to respond with your goodbye. Can we do that together? Yeah. Thank you very much for your time, and God bless.
All right. Thank you very much, Aniene Kaneziko. Can you please stand for a group photograph right there?